Greetings everyone, I'm Kevin and it's time to play YaTBRzy for the first time for 2022. So first things first, there are a few changes to the game since 2021. So in 2021, I had 2 months per column. So I only had, for the 5 columns that are, I only had the first 10 months of the year. The last time that I played the game was October because I decided in 2021 that I wanted only 2 months per column, which meant that for the first month of the column I read 7 books and for the second I read at least 8 books. And I have changed that whole thing for this year. The main reason is that I work full-time. Back when I started in 2021, I was a part-time student and a part-time teacher. So I worked part-time and I was a student at university. I had a lot more free time than I do now. So I won't have as much time to read as I did in the first 6 months of 2021. I still have time to read, but because of that, I decided that I'm gonna instead put 3 months per column, which meant that it's 5 books per month, which is an even number and not 7 or 8 books. So 5 books per month is the plan for 2022. That's the first change that I did. The second thing that I did was I went through every single prompt that I had and I threw a few out that I either had or I felt like they didn't work anymore, something like that, and I added 1 prompt, and you will very clearly see what prompt that is because it's the only one that is handwritten. And then we have the red cards that are title cards. They have a number on them. And for the entirety of 2021, that number was the number on my Goodreads want to read list. So if I got the number 18, I would go to my Goodreads want to read list, scroll until I see the number 18, and that's the book I read. But it doesn't necessarily have to be the Goodreads want to read list. Instead, I decided that I wanted the chance to read books on my physical TBR or my digital TBR that I might not have on my Goodreads want to read list. So if I get the number 18 as an example, I could either go to my Goodreads want to read list or I could pick a book here. So I would count until number 18 on the shelves, and that's the book I read. Or I would open my reading journal and go to my digital TBR spread and count until 18, and that's the book I read. So I have those 3 options now. And I felt like that is a good idea for me because that way I could ensure that I read books on my TBR and not, books that I don't own or have and that I would have to get. And that is also like a reason that if for whatever reason I don't have time or I don't have the money to spend more on books, or a book that I don't feel like I want to own anymore. Like it could be a book that I am interested in, but it's not a book that I would purchase. And if it isn't available on like Scribd, then I might as well just pick a book that I already have available to me either through my physical TBR or my digital TBR. So that's that little change as well. Then I wanted to add a little something to motivate me. So earlier I haven't had any real, perk or thing that would happen if I reached a goal. So the idea is if I complete a full column of on the YaTBRzy or on the YaTBRzy sheet. So 1 column, as I said, is now 3 months instead of 2. If I complete all the books for each month on that, row, I get to buy 3 books. And if I manage to go 3 months playing YaTBRzy without once crossing something out, I get to buy 5 books. And the crossing out thing is the thing that I think is going to be the most difficult. It's hard to not cross something out, especially in the last month, the last time that you play, because there aren't that many options. So those are the added or changed rules for the game. And then as always, we're gonna spin the wheel. This is so weird, I haven't spun this since October. But here we have it, and the last one that I did was, be on the right side, was 50 pages a day. So let's see what monthly challenge I will do. And if you don't remember, the whole thing is read 5. So I'm gonna spin this, and then for whatever thing we get, I will have to pick 5 books to read specifically for that challenge. If it is like 50 pages a day, that is more than 5 books, because 50 pages a day would take more than 5 books to read, usually, depending on how many pages the book is. But like if I get, you know, 30 books a day, that is more than 5 books. That is 30 books. So, but I will pick 5 books connected to the challenge that if I don't complete all 5, I have to take punishment prompts for YaTBRzy, because this is connected to the TBR game. I just like challenging myself even more than I need. But let's spin the wheel. And the first monthly challenge of 2022 is in a cafe. Okay. That is kind of funny, I think, for one very specific reason. The last time that I got that challenge, I hated it. I was so stressed out and anxious about it, and I felt just so horrible about the idea of sitting in a cafe and reading and bringing my camera, because it's a vlog. I usually do a monthly challenge reading vlog where I read the 5 books. That is another part of the challenge. And I don't do that when I did the 50 pages a day. I didn't do a reading vlog because I felt like, what's the point of like, hey, I read 50 pages today, you know? Like I felt like that wasn't necessary. But for In a Cafe, for January, I'm gonna read 5 books in a cafe. And this was great because I am going to be participating in a readathon for 2022. For January, which is the Goodreads Choice Awards readathon, where I would read books that were either nominated or won in the Goodreads Choice Awards for any genre. So In a Cafe doesn't have to be connected to anything. I can just pick whatever 5 books I want, and that's really, really nice. So now that we have the monthly challenge out of the way, let's go through the prompts for the Goodreads Choice Awards. So the first prompt is to read a 5-star prediction. Then judge a book by its cover. Just read a book that you think has a beautiful cover. Read a book with some kind of representation in it. And then the 4th one is outside your comfort zone. So read a book that is not in your comfort zone. So could be a book about something that is not in my comfort zone, or a genre that is not in my comfort zone. And the last one is poll pick, and that is just me going on to Twitter, doing a poll, having my Twitter friends pick a book for me. That's the idea for that. And then I'm also participating in 2 read-alongs. I'm participating in the Agatha Christie read-along, and we're going to read Evil Under the Sun in January, and I'm really excited about that. I read an Agatha Christie book this month in December, and I loved that book, so I'm really excited to read another Agatha Christie murder mystery book. The second read-along that I'm participating in is the Poppy War read-along, so we're reading Poppy War in January. So if I can fit those 2 books in, I would be very happy. But then those are the little things to get out of the way, and let's do the first roll for January. Roll number 1. What? Okay, that is a small straight, which is 15, wait, that is here, 15 points. Okay, so that is the first yellow card of the year, TBR Veteran. So the first prompt was TBR Veteran, and I feel like I have gotten this a few times now, but I haven't really completed it in a year, I think. In a year. I've only been doing this for 1 year now. But I decided to go for a book that I actually forgot that I owned because it's in my other bookshelf. So I have 4 bookcases in total, so these 2 are my main ones, and then I have 2 others. One for nonfiction only, and then another one where I have a lot of like different things. But I had this there, Let's Talk About Love, and I've been owning this. I have owned this for a few years. That I just completely forgot about it because it's not on here. I have it on my other bookcase, as I said. But this is the first book that is going on my TBR. I've heard a lot of things about it. It has an asexual main character, which is what kind of drew me to it in the first place. So I'm excited to read this. Round 2, roll 1. Okay, now we didn't get a set 1. Okay, so well, I'm gonna go with the freeze. I am still gonna go with the freeze. And oh shit. Okay. So either I go with 9 or I go with 10. I'm gonna go with 9 because I might get more 5s later. So that's 9 going in there. That is another yellow card, so this time we have Fat Protagonist. The next prompt is Fat Protagonist, and I had a few issues finding a book for this because I wanted the book to fit with my Goodreads Choice Awards readathon TBR, and it has to be nominated on the Goodreads Choice Awards in order to fit. So I'm going to do a little stretch, I think, because this is the first book in a series and the other 2 books are nominated in the Goodreads Choice Awards, but this book isn't. And if I feel like it's cheating, then I will just read the second book in the series, which is nominated. And that book that I'm planning to read is Get a Life, Chloe Brown, which is the first book in the Brown Sisters series by Talia Hibbert. I've heard a lot of great things about it, and it has a fat female main character. All the sisters are black, and I think at least 2 of them are also fat. So it fits the prompt for Fat Protagonist, and I might count it for Goodreads Choice Awards, or I will do the second book for that and do the first book for YaTBRzy and the second book for Goodreads Choice Awards. We'll see. Round 3, roll 1. And this is a 3. So, okay, I'm gonna go with the ones. Maybe I will get a YaTBRzy. And last roll. That I'm gonna go with 3 ones, of course. And that is another yellow card. So the third yellow card of the year is Jewish Protagonist. Third prompt is Jewish Protagonist, and I decided to use this YaTBRzy prompt for the Goodreads Choice Awards readathon prompt outside of my comfort zone. So I'm reading The Tattooist of Auschwitz. If you are not new to my channel, you know that I have personal issues with reading about World War II, or specifically the Holocaust and the concentration camps. So I always try to challenge myself to read stories that has to do with those things, but it's still something that I'm not comfortable with. Like, it's something that is difficult for me to read, so what better book to read for outside of my comfort zone than a book that is literally outside of my comfort zone. So I'm reading The Tattooist of Auschwitz for Jewish Protagonist, as well as the prompt outside of your comfort zone for Goodreads Choice Awards readathon. Roll number 4. Now I'm gonna go with the 5s. And another 5. And last roll. Another 5. Should I go with this here? I think so. So that is 20. So that is a very ugly 0. but it's 20. And that is another yellow card. And this time we have superhero. Ooh. Then we have superhero, a prompt that I really like. And now I get to pick a book from my physical TBR, and it's We Could Be Heroes, which is a superhero story. It's a YA book centered on Asian American characters, or I think they're Asian American. I know that they're Asian, but I don't know if it's set in the US or if it's set in Asia. I just assumed. The main characters are Asian superheroes. That's what I can say. But I love superhero stories. I love science fictions. So I'm really excited to get to this. I wanted to read it for December this month, but I didn't get to it. So I'm really excited to read a superhero book for January. Last roll for January. No shit. Okay, I got free freeze again. So either I try for a YaTBRzy with freeze. What can I do if I don't get? I already put 9 on freeze. I'm gonna go with a 6 to be on the safe side. I don't want to get a punishment. And I did the right thing. And then last roll. Oh my god! What? What? I kind of want to put it here just because this in itself means that I don't have to care about anything else to get a 50-point bonus, but putting it here I get a 50 points. Oh my god, oh my god. Okay, that is the highest possible because there's a YaTBRzy. So we end this with a red card and the number is 2. And then we end up with kind of like a high note, I think. And we got a title card, so the number is 2. So as I said earlier, I could choose between doing the Goodreads Want to Read list, my digital TBR on the spread in my journal, or here. And I decided to go with my digital TBR. So I'm reading The Friend Zone. And The Friend Zone was actually nominated for the Goodreads Choice Awards in 2019. So it counts as there as well. So here are the 2 books that I own physically that I will be reading for YaTBRzy. And here are the 3 books that I don't own physically. So now we're gonna go ahead and pick the books for my Goodreads Choice Awards readathon. So for my Goodreads Choice Awards readathon TBR, I'm going to read for 5-star prediction, I'm going to read The Love Hypothesis, which was very kindly gifted to me by Charlotte. So thank you very much, Charlotte, for gifting me this. And this is a 5-star prediction because I've heard a lot of great things about, like, I've mainly heard great things about it, which made me very, like, excited to pick it up because everyone seems to love it. So hey, I might love it as well. So it's a 5-star prediction and it has to do with kind of like a fake dating thing. So we have our main character called Olive, and her best friend wants to date her ex, I think, and for Olive to say like, oh, it's fine, I'm okay with that, and she says, like, she covers it up by, I have a date, and then the friend shows up at the university or the place, I think it's a university, and Olive freaks out, so she kisses the first person that comes around the corner, which is Adam, who is a professor, and they decide to fake date. And I've heard that it's really cute, so I'm excited to read this. Then we have the prompt, judge a book by its cover, so read a book with a beautiful cover. And I decided to do Winter's Orbit. This was nominated for the science fiction category in 2021 because it's a new release. I really wanted to get to it, but I couldn't. I didn't have time to. But I think it's gorgeous. It's absolutely stunning, and it's also a queer book. I think it has to do with the king or something of a place trying to find a husband, something like that. I've heard great things about this as well, so I'm really excited to read it, and the cover is gorgeous. So let's judge the cover the book by the cover, as the prompt says. The next prompt is representation, so I'm gonna read The Kiss Quotient by Helen Wang. We have a main character with Asperger's, and she wants to find a husband, but she doesn't really understand the whole dating thing. So she makes a plan and she hires an escort, I think he's an escort, to help her be a good girlfriend and, you know, like teach her the ways of love and stuff like that. So this is for representation, both Asian representation and also like disability representation, I think, mental disability representation as well. So this goes on the TBR too. And the fourth book is The Tattooist of Auschwitz, for book outside your comfort zone, because it really is. And the last prompt is poll pick. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find a few books and put them on a poll on Twitter, and I will read the book that comes up there. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pick 5 books for my monthly challenge, so in a cafe. So I'm gonna pick 5 books that I will be reading in a cafe. So for my reading challenge, I wanted to mix from both the TBRs. So I'm gonna be reading We Could Be Heroes, Winter's Orbit, The Friend Zone, Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and The Love Hypothesis, because I think it would be really fun to include this in a vlog. So I will be reading all these 5 books in a cafe, and only in a cafe. So here is my TBR for January. I'm really excited to get reading, and there are a few of these books that I'm just extremely excited, and I would just want to dive right into them. And I think it's gonna be nice to spend some time in a cafe now, because I haven't been able to get out of my apartment much because I've been sick, which some of you know from my Advent reading vlog. I first was home for a full week because of the stomach flu, and then I was home a full week because I might have had COVID, unsure, probably. I did a test for like a self test, but I'm not allowed to take the real test to see if I was currently having the virus, if my body just had reacted to it at some point. But I was homesick for 2 full weeks this December, so that was not nice. So I'm very, very much looking forward to being outside my apartment. So I think it will be really nice to spend some time in a cafe and just, you know, read and drink coffee, and, you know, just, that was a lovely experience all in all, the last time that I did an in a cafe thing. So there we have my TBR for January. I hope you enjoy. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, good reading. Bye.